The threat of ransomware attack is growing rapidly. The latest Sophos report, State of Ransomware 2024, based on the experience of 5,000 respondents worldwide, paints a concerning picture. An overwhelming 59% of organizations that have been concluded in the report have been hit by ransomware.
Just to optimize their chances to be paid, the threat actor tried to compromise the backups. And in 57% of the cases under the SOFA study, they succeeded, leaving the victim with limited options for recovery.
If this is not enough, data encryption isn't the only concern. 32% of incidents, stolen data adds another layer of pressure, leading to potentially damage and reputational fines.
And just if you're still sitting comfortably at your seats, just to spice things up, in 63% of the cases, the demand for the ransom was above $1 million. With those delightful and optimistic numbers, let's give a warm welcome to Christian Milde, CEO of Kodbu by Dussmann. Christian will delve deeper into the complex decision-making of whether or not pay the ransom. Christian.
Thank you, Lars.
Glad to have you
Thanks
here.
for the introduction and very warm welcome also from my side. Nice to see you here all today. And also thanks for my shareholders and thanks for the audience being here today. I think you all make it right because you want to learn more about resilience, recovery, and reputation. These are the three elements what we are doing, what we are covering about, and where we are helping you. So what I want to like to take you with on board is what happens to ransomware attack. What are the elements? What are the components to prepare for a ransomware attack? And also some situations, items, how to understand to pay or not to pay, because there are some certain elements which have to be treated. So first of all, I would like to explain about what is the current situation, and then about what is the cost of the crisis, because knowing the cost of the crisis is a very important element, and you will see during my presentation that these are some aspects which we have heard already today. So there you will see some connecting the dots of the panel discussion and also from the presentation what Wolf gave you earlier. Also, we need to know about the other side, and I'm happy to have Moti Crystal today with us and have seen him here today also in the panel discussion. And then, as I said, I want to explain you about some scenarios to pay or not to pay. What is the situation we are in? So in last year, in 2023, there was about a 1.1 billion of ransom payment in the market. That's the global number. It's just twice as much as a year before, so it's a dramatic rise in ransom requests. Despite that, it's just 79% of business leaders are preparing for ransomware. So the question is, what are the others doing? What is the 21 CEOs or decision makers are doing if they're not preparing for this significant event, which can not only damage the company, but can bring your company out of the market. So as we know, the downtime of a ransomware case and a cyber crisis take an average 3 to 4 weeks. So this is the time which takes usually to recover. So, and also another aspect is we all have heard in February this year, there was a dramatic takedown of Lockbit. Lockbit is one of the largest, if not the largest affiliate of ransomware and cybercrime gangs. And it was taken down by Europol, FBI, and so it was a global event. But believe it or not, 2 days later, they have been active again. So what happens, the complete market was shocked, and we have seen many other threat actors on the market who at this point in time understood that Lockbit is not a secure method anymore to affiliate and to be part of a cybercrime gang. So this also represents a strong fragmentation in the market, that we see a lot of changes, and also, which brings me later on when I'm explaining you what are the situation we have to think about with whom we are dealing with. Lockbit was a very sophisticated, is a very professional cyber gang, and if we are dealing with other criminals, we have to be careful if they are trustful or not. So cyber criminals also think about their reputation and that they are trustworthy, and therefore we need to prove during the decision making, pay or not to pay, are we dealing here with a cyber gang which is trustful, that we are getting the keys or not. That may be the reason why 66% of the victims are refusing not to paying, because of either they are not allowed to pay. So if you are in the US, for instance, by law, you are not allowed to pay, because otherwise you fall into a situation that you are supporting criminals. And if we are seeing the math that 34% are paying, and multiplying it, who are of them successful, that means that they are able, with the key they are paying for, that they're able to recover the infrastructures with decryption. It's just 31% of them are successful. So that at the end, it's just 10% of cyber criminals who are paying at the end are successful. Yeah. So already in the beginning, the question is, would you invest in a business with a probability of 10%? But there are some elements which is telling us yes, we have to pay, as we have seen in the hospital. I explain you a little bit later. So before, and this is what also Neil mentioned, we have to prepare. We have to be prepared for the cyber crisis. We have to understand what is the cost of the crisis in total if we are confronted with a ransomware request. There are a lot of elements, and I'm just highlighting some aspects we need to consider. And by the way, this is not a technical thing. This is something what the CFO and the CEO needs to write down. They need to agree what is the cost of the cyber crisis. What are we, if we are engaged with a ransomware request, what are we able or we want to pay, because this is the cost what we are in the 3 to 4 weeks downtime of the company, which we should pay, that we get as soon as possible into the recovery. So the first thing is customers are churning. So if you're losing the customer because of reputation or because you cannot deliver, it's costing you, and it may bring you to another crisis, because the stock market is falling. We've seen so many cases. There was just the battery company in Germany called Varta, which just burned during the cyber crisis 300 million of stock market, 300 million of euros in stock market value. So imagine that. The next thing is, if the customers are churning and you don't have income, what is about your cash flow? So it may happen that from a cyber crisis, you end up in a financial crisis, and at the end, it could happen that you are out of the market. At the same time, if your reputation goes down and your value is shrinking, it also means that your loans and your liabilities are increasing. So it's also important, if you have loans, you lended some money, that also the percentage for that is levering up. Also, you need to know, and I think this is a traditional thing, the cost of temporary alternatives. So if you have to choose another vendor, another supply chain, another platform, or migrate your infrastructure to somewhere else to go into recovery, you need to know that. You need to understand what the recovery costs are, and we have heard that from Olga. There may be potential penalties by the regulator. Yeah, think about it, calculate it, how much that could be. This ends up to your budget of your cyber crisis. And there may be potential damages and claims from your customers from the shareholders, from the board of directors. So there may be requests to the CEO and to the company to recover those damages because it looks like you have not done with the due diligence or you have not been prepared. So these are all elements which you need to prepare and plan in advance, because then you know what are you able to pay for if a ransom request is occurring to you. And coming back to Monte Crystal, you need to understand, with a very professional negotiator, you need to understand the other side. So when the crisis is starting, you need to understand from your incident response personnel, but also together with the negotiator, you need to understand who's sitting on the other side. So who's attacking you? You need to gather all the intelligence. Who is it? As Monte Crystal mentioned, are you talking to a Lockbit, an affiliate, or are you talking to a script kiddie? And who's attacking you? You need to check the reliability of the hackers. So ask for samples, and many samples, at least 2 or 3, where you are checking if the decryption method is working. Because you need to be sure when you are paying the ransom that actually you are paying for quality. Means paying for quality, that what you are paying for, that the keys are working and not that there's any type of malware. Remembering what I said earlier, Lockbit was taken from the market. There are many other threat actors on the market who are trying to play with ransomware, with malware, which is not working. And then at the end you have paid, but the key is not working. And you need to understand, and it also was mentioned earlier, how much data is leaked. How much data, how sensitive is the data, and is it true what the threat actor is claiming, the amount of data and the worth of the data. It's also interesting that you need to know, especially if you just imagine, and in Germany we have a lot of them, if you are a car manufacturer, if construction data is lost, what is the value of the data today, but also in the future, because that might be a car which is out in the market in 5 to 10 years, and this is the money you need to generate in 5 to 10 years. So imagine about how much is the value of the data you just lost. And then one important thing is you need to play for time. Yeah, need to play for time, and of course at the end you need to negotiate the amount, at least to get and try to get some benefit. So I think that was just the introduction that you better understand, because now we are coming to the scenarios. If we pay or not pay. So let me start with the first scenario. So you get attacked, and as I said earlier, you need to understand which type of cyber gang are you working with. Is it A, B, or C? Lockbit obviously is one of A, is high professional. You can expect some good service for your money you're gonna pay to them. So if it's C, so some just starter and unknown threat actor in the market, is very unlikely that the decryption key will work and you get your data back. If it's a state actor, very sensitive, then absolutely we would recommend not to pay, because state actor, you are financing war, crime, and you should not do. And also it has a very highly sensitive reputational issue. If you are sponsoring North Korea or Russia with your money, you shouldn't do that. Then the next thing, I think this is definitely the area where Code Blue is operating in the preparedness cyber defense. If you are best prepared on the organizational side, from the technical side, then you have great chances not to pay, because your time to recovery is short, your business continuity is working, and that means you have low risk that your recovery takes longer than the 2, 3, or even 4 weeks. So it means 3 and 4 is at the end. There's a good assessment, you have a good backup, you have a good business continuity plan, and that means all the organizational and technical measures are working. There's one exception, and this was also a case with the hospital. If you have very highly sensitive data which got lost, then there's a high likelihood that it makes sense that you pay. Because then you can find an agreement. Okay, the question is the cyber criminals don't give guarantees, but if you find an agreement with the cyber criminals not that your data got lost to the dark web and you will be published, then it may have a positive outcome for you. So at the end, the biggest question, coming back to this cyber crisis cost calculation, this is the calculation which we always do during a cyber crisis. We are calculating what is the cost of the cyber crisis versus the ransomware request. So if the ransomware request is lower than the actual cost of the damage and the cyber crisis, then of course you pay. And it makes it also easier if you have a cyber insurance and the amount is covered by the cyber insurance, then of course it makes sense that you pay. And then, as I said earlier, if you're not allowed to pay because of the state you are operating in, or if you, for instance, back to the car manufacturer, if you have an affiliate or you want to sell cars in the US, highly dangerous that you pay. Again, you might fall under sanction if you are paying cyber criminals at this point in time. Yeah. So these are the key elements. If you look into the Plan B book of Franco, you will find that. You will find also the explanation. And of course, this is when we got caught and get into a cyber crisis. These are the elements, the scenarios which we are taking care of. So to sum up, as I mentioned already, cyber criminals don't guarantee. But if you have paid, the question is, there's just a 32% of probability that you get your data back. There's no guarantee that you will end up in a double extortion because you are a lucrative victim, because you are showing that you are able to pay, that you're willing to pay, that you're not good in preparedness, and yeah, you may be a second time a victim. So this is another thing where I recommend not to pay. Yeah, and last but not least, as I said, more and more companies are refusing to pay. I think this is a trend in the market, and also also good, because we don't want to subsidize cyber criminals. And on the other side, criminals are also increasing the demands because they see that they get less and less ransomware payment, even though there was a double of the number from 22 to 23. And negotiations getting tougher, and it gets from double extortion to quadruple extortion, that even the threat actors are going to the regulator and announcing, hey, this company has been compromised, please push some regulatory fines against them, and they try to push you to pay. Yeah, thank you so much. These are the scenarios. This is what I wanted to share with you, and I'm happy to have a discussion maybe later on during the cocktail or later on during the show. And hopefully I have not taken too much time, but thank you for listening.